Hello and welcome to No Rest for the Weekend, where we go behind the scenes and talk to the creators of independent entertainment. I'm Jason Godbey, and with me, making his triumphant return to the Rabbit Hole Studio once again, thrice times on the show, Mr. Blake Farber.
All right, can't have enough of me, huh? Oh, boy.
No, man, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, 3 times a charm.
Definitely, 3 times a charm. So you're here. This is kind of a special show because if you want to hear about Blake, you can revisit the first 2 episodes that he was on. We did a 2-parter with him, one kind of talking about him and his method of like getting work, and then the second one is like once you've gotten the job. Blake is an accomplished commercial director, but the reason he's here today is that we actually get to work together on a show, and we were on a commercial together. Blake invited me to become a part of. And it was a great experience. And I wanted to, we have behind-the-scenes footage that we can show you. So if you're a listener, you may want to watch this one. But we're going to talk about it. And first, I'll have you just kind of set it up for us. So what was the commercial for? How'd you get the job? Talk about that.
Okay, so let's talk about cell phones, okay? So the most popular cell phones in the world would start with Apple. Now, in countries, usually, after Apple, it's Samsung. Then after that, it's something else, and then after that, it's a company called Oppo. Okay? Now, this company called Oppo is from China, and they're about the 3rd biggest cell phone maker in the world. Little known fact, because it's not very popular in a lot of the Western countries, but it's huge in countries like India and China and throughout Asia, which is over 2.5, 3 billion people.
Right.
So the saying is, when you can't afford an Apple, you get a Samsung. When you can't afford a Samsung, you get something else. And then you get an Oppo phone. They made a phone called Realme. They wanted something to be shot in New York. They wanted someone who has experience in India, who has experience in New York, and someone who knows China working styles. And when I got this job offer, I was like, wait, I'm in India right now.
You were in India
I was
when
literally
you got the
in India
offer?
when I
Wow.
got the job. And then I saw signs for Oppo everywhere. Oppo.
It's huge in India.
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the East, basically. India, China are probably their biggest markets.
Yeah, and Southeast Asia and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they said that I think their biggest market is India. I mean,
Yeah.
India's huge anyway. It's a giant country.
Yeah.
So you were in India when you got the call to come to New York to shoot.
Yeah, and I knew
a
about the phone. From
a Chinese phone for the Indian market.
Yeah, so they're like, we want a director from New York, or who
Right.
knows New York, who knows China, and knows about India. I was like, okay, check. Wait, I'm from New York.
Right, perfect. Yeah,
Right,
you clicked all 3
yeah,
boxes.
exactly. So,
and so this was with this was interesting because we were working with 2 different studios. It was EI Studios and Rollin Studios.
yeah.
Which I think are they both based in Brooklyn?
I
know Rollin-
Queens and Brooklyn. Close enough.
So they were, and EI was kind of acting as sort of the agent. They were kind of working directly
Yes,
with the company.
sort of agent.
Yeah.
Usually in China, if you do a job overseas, they always get a local Chinese company, and that's the EI Studios.
Right.
I Studios, however you pronounce it. Our good friend Hong. Thank you, Hong.
He was
And
great.
thank you, Song, for being so adapting to me. I mean, during the set, I was like yelling, Hong Song, because it was easier just to yell there.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has a first name that neither one of us can pronounce.
It's okay.
But he was great. We shot it was just 2 days, right?
2 days. Yeah,
Okay.
it should have been 3. To be
Yeah,
honest.
it was. I was trying to think because we did 3 locations the first day, 3 or 4 locations the first day. Park Avenue, then we shot in the boxing gym,
Yeah.
and then we shot 2 different floors at Brooklyn Law School.
Right down the street here.
Yeah.
We compacted it to be 2-in-1 locations just to.
And then the
lessen-
second day,
Oh,
we also
was
had
raining.
horrendous weather.
which looks great on the roof.
We shot the rooftop of the studio. Then we shot because they have a studio out in.
Yeah, Rolling Studios is a great company.
Yeah.
Anthony Argento and Sue, they're a great producer team. And so what's great about that company is that they own or manage so many studios. So they gave me a list and say, where do you want to shoot? I said, okay, here. And we have access to like a key to all these places. Which
Yeah,
is
and they
amazing.
were gorgeous too. There was a place out, they had this studio out in Greenpoint,
Yeah.
and it was like 2 different studios, and they shot on the roof of one of them.
Yeah.
Which you'll see that's in the commercial, and then there was like the second floor one, which was the beautiful stuff that we did with Kevin Rivera.
Right.
and that was who actually I worked with Kevin when I shot a equipment review.
He's a great actor.
He's
awesome, talented,
wonderful kid, and wonderful dancer too. And we actually shot I did a test of a gimbal, and he was like the dancer that I shot on the gimbal. We went down to Coney Island. Shot
I saw that. It was cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
So we had a great cast, great diverse cast, and the whole thing. What would you say? Like the concept of the commercial was kind of like the phone is called Real Me.
Well, before we go there, they said, what are some ideas? Because they don't know New York.
Oh, so did you come up with a concept for this?
Yeah, I worked with my friend Abi, and he's
cool.
a great writer. So we kind of partnered up, and he knows both Indian culture. He knows Oppo well. He knows this kind of thing. A little familiar with New York, so we together wrote something kind of interesting, and they liked it, and they adapted. They changed the voiceover and everything like that, and something that makes sense for New York and those markets.
The phone is called Real Me,
so
it was kind of like this phone helps you be the real you. So everybody it was like a double life kind of scenario.
AKA students who can't afford high-end phones, they get that phone. That's
right.
Plain simple.
Right.
It looks like an iPhone completely.
So we had there were 3 principal characters. We had like my aunt Aurora, who was the boxer.
Right.
Juliet Doherty, who was the office worker / motorcycle rider.
There you go.
And we had Kevin,
street dancer. Someone who yells "Showtime" in the subway.
Right.
That kind of character. He's such a natural talented guy. He was just on this HBO show.
Random Acts of Flyness.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like the star of it. He was amazing.
He was terrific.
Yeah.
He played this like Peter Pan character.
Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense without him.
No. I thought everybody was very good. And the production was 2 days, but damn, was it a full 2 days.
Yeah, that should have been 3.
It was
2.5.
It was like because the first day was Park Avenue. And we were shooting motorcycle.
4 in the morning.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know when you got there, but I got there about 6, and you guys were ready to roll at 6.
Oh yeah, I was like, just get on the car.
I show up, I got my gear with me, and he's like in the back of a camera truck, getting ready to roll.
Yeah.
And it's a motorcycle shot coming up Park Avenue. And so he's like, I said, what do you want me to do? He's like, just get in the back of the truck. And
okay.
One of the guys gets an Apple box for me, and they chain it to the thing, and I'm like you're strapped in. It was like being hanging out of the helicopter.
Yeah, almost. Exactly.
And we got some great shots driving up and down Park Avenue, which was. Did we close Park Avenue? Did they?
It was sort of, and we had the police escort and everything.
Yeah,
like
we had a cop traveling behind us or in front of us, which was good.
And remember a motorcycle stunt. She was she crossed like the line and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we had I think she ran a red light.
Yeah, and the police were like, "You gotta follow the law. You gotta follow."
Yeah, don't break it. And then we had a car accident. You remember that?
Oh yeah, we filmed it too. We filmed the car accident.
Really?
I have the shots of it. I'm not using it. I don't.
Yeah, it was somebody had. It was early in the morning, so I'm thinking somebody just had a late night. And I don't know, fell asleep or maybe had a few too many.
Yeah,
and,
she went over the curb, I remember.
Yeah,
and
right in Union Square, too, like right where on 17th Street, just went funk right off the edge.
Into the flower pot.
And I was going around, I was like, oh, my God. What? And then we lost our cop for a while because he went to go.
Oh, he went to, because a cop has to be a cop, and they have to protect and serve. So I was like, we got to be protected and serve.
Right. They have to. They have to take care of stuff like that. They can't just be movie cops.
Yeah, exactly.
So and after that, we went to Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn.
Yeah, classic place, except they moved.
That was really cool because that place gives you lots of authenticity. It just looks, it's a real boxing gym, so it looks like a real boxing gym. And then you guys were in the ring doing some boxing. I got some great shots of that.
And we had a coach too.
Yeah, did he have a background in boxing? Did he know, or was he just an actor who looked like a great boxing coach?
No, he had a background like martial arts and stuff like
okay.
that. So he knew a bunch of the things. That's why he had the style and everything. And he's like, I was trying to make sure we can get a cast. Like, they wanted everybody to be young. I said, great, but you need an older person to teach you how to be young, not teach you the ways of the force or something like that. And
you needed the mentor character.
You needed a mentor character.
Yeah.
That was the big problem.
Somebody who could coach the young guy.
Exactly.
Because Aurora, he's like 22. He's a young guy.
He's not a boxer. He's a model.
And
come on, if you're watching this, you know that.
We did have one of the guys, the young man who was his opponent, had a boxing background.
Yeah, John,
who he had like a And you know, like
he was coaching him. And
he was,
helping.
they were kind of helping each other and trying to make it look real, which was cool. And we got a ton of boxing shots. And then we went to the law school after that and got a ton of shots up at the library. And then we used the office space downstairs, which I thought that was clever to grab both of those locations.
Same with like the studio on day 2.
Now this is the thing I want you to talk about, which I now and you know, don't say what you can't say, but the clients there, we had the clients who had come over from China. Every shot, we had a monitor for them. You would be out directing and getting the shots, and they were literally kind of going shot by shot and approving them and saying, "Okay, move on." When I first saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, that's like."
That's how it is in commercials.
Now, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, is this for those of you who are aspiring to direct a commercial one day? Is this the kind of law of the land, or is that an anomaly?
That's more or less how it is, unless you're friends with them and they trust you and you just go on your own, which kind of happens. So if you notice the way I was doing it, I planned it with the assistant director, Felipe Pava.
Felipe's terrific.
Yeah, he's great. Made everything on time. So I was trying to shoot what they want first and then the fun stuff after, so we can do whatever we want.
So was there like a shot list that you went through that they had?
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, okay, this is their shot list, and then I'm going to get some bonus shots.
Yeah, I made like red on the first one, and everything else was free.
Okay, because you shot a lot of coverage.
Yeah, just in case, because they don't want me to be part of the editing room. Like, I can know how to, if I'm editing myself, I know how to kind of save it. But if I'm not going to be there, which they're doing it in 4 different countries, there's China, more in Southeast Asia, and India, and they're all doing their own version because they all have different styles, different voiceover, language, culture, everything. So I was just making sure everybody's happy, get all the footage, all the coverage. Okay, shoot the guy's phone, shoot the logo of the phone, shoot the guy's hand pressing this button. Okay, pressing another button, swiping. I had to learn about how to use that phone.
Right.
And the best part is, or the worst part is, the phone didn't even work. They ship a phone that's not even out yet. That didn't work.
Well, half the time, there was a young lady, I apologize because I forget her name, but she was sort of the
Rachel,
she was
prop master.
Yeah, she was in charge of keeping the phone shiny.
Exactly.
And making sure the phone looked good. But half the time it had a green screen on it.
Because it didn't turn green. I had the green logo and the effects supervisor was helping.
Right.
Like that.
So you had like a green on the screen of the phone, and that would be when they were doing this stuff.
Yeah.
When they were swiping and whatnot, that then they could put in the graphics later.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't know if they wound up using any of those for effect shots in the original.
They did, and I used it a couple times in my version too.
But so that was I think that was the biggest difference between, like, for me, seeing like directing a movie or something like that, where you have a client literally, kind of almost literally over your shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, movies too. This movie studio could be there on a one scene.
Producers, exec producers, the suits, can they be, and you just have to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And you're very good with that. You're very good at working with the client directly, and you're an affable dude. So like it's like they like you, and they get along with you, and I think that builds rapport and trust, which they need to have.
It helps.
But we had I thought that in terms of like the way things were rolling on it, very efficient to do those two to shoot that thing in 2 days.
Yeah. We scouted 2-3 times and everything, and I took a bunch of photos.
How long was the pre-production on it?
I mean, the writing process was about mid-July, and we shot almost mid-August.
Right.
So it was like 2 weeks of approval, back and forth, lots of phone calls and everything, and then suddenly it went to full-on pre-production, like maybe a week and a half before.
And overall, the process, I think the takeaways are like the amount of client interaction that you have to do, how flexible you have to be, and just the insane amount of coverage that you have to get.
Right.
Because you're not going in the editing room, so you're like, let me get everything, and then if they need it, they have it.
Yeah, because the worst mistake you can make is if you miss a shot or you don't get one shot. They don't even think, so you got to think 2 steps ahead. Okay, shoot this phone this way, shoot this guy doing this one, or this girl doing this, and so on and so forth. So you have to kind of plan ahead of that way, because you'll be stuck if you didn't shoot that.
Yeah, can you imagine they get back to China and they're like, oh man, we don't have that shot.
Yeah.
That then
sometimes they do reshoots and spend thousands.
Right. The other thing I noticed too was the amount of interaction between you and the AD and everybody else. So it's kind of another dynamic. If you haven't been on a set, or if you haven't been on a commercial set, it's basically, it's like a lot of it would be like you telling Felipe, the AD, and then he would be talking to camera, or he would be talking to people, sort of delegating that way. If you weren't like in earshot yourself.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't like saying action, so I like when the AD says action.
Really? Why don't you like saying action?
I don't know, because I think it's such a typical word that people have been using for almost 100 years of film. And I don't know, for some reason, I just don't like saying action. I don't know why. So I have them say action and stuff like that, and I'm usually very close to the cinematographer and everything like that. And then I make mental notes in my head about the actor and stuff like that. So the two people, assistant director to this side, very close, and cinematographer this side, and then, of course, actors
right
in this part. So...
And then you had,
but I prepped all the actors before, like days before.
Oh, okay. Too. So you had a chance to do some rehearsal.
I brought them to the location too and did rehearsal there.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So, see, you don't
rare.
you don't usually get that time.
Yeah.
And I think it shows because you were able to get some good performances out of people without having to spend a ton of time rehearsing on location.
Right.
I mean, it's time and money to get them there beforehand, but you save so much time and money if you can do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a thing in film too. Like you just don't get the time with the actors beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. Especially celebrities, you just do it.
Yeah, you get them like, oh, you got 3. Like when you were here before, you were talking about that soap opera star, and she's got between 1 and 5 this day, and then you're like, all right.
Or the celebrity I just worked with in Italy is no time.
Yeah,
she came in, flew in the plane, landed. We did it. I actually did one dress rehearsal kind of thing with her, which was rare, which was only an hour, but it was something.
All in all, I mean, this thing looks amazing. And Mahal Double?
Sure.
I'm so sorry, Mahal.
That's great.
He's
Mihail Double.
He was terrific.
He's great.
I don't whose decision was, because we were shooting on the Alexa Mini, which is a wonderful camera, and I think what really made it give it that look was the Panavision anamorphic lenses.
Yeah, anamorphic lenses make it cinematic. And
oh my God, it looked like a movie. Like,
thank you.
And I think if they could, you know how they have commercials before movies in theaters? That's where I would put that commercial.
Right.
Because it looks really cinematic and great. And it's almost an injustice to watch it on your phone. I know. Which is what you see it on Facebook or Instagram or something. You look on this tiny little screen. It just doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
But it looked fantastic from what I saw. And do you remember the gaffer's name? Because
no, my God,
he was
great.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
So let me, if you don't mind,
he inspired Michael or Mihail to buy these tubes, and you just place them anywhere, fluorescent tubes, and you can change it using your phone.
Oh yeah, they're like almost like Kino Flows kind of thing.
And now Mihail is the sponsor in Poland or in Eastern Europe for a company now. So
that's so
cool. A whole door.
He was like the Yoda of lighting.
Yeah.
Because I'll do a brief digression here if I can fit this story in. But so I went there under the auspices of I'm going to shoot behind the scenes for the show, and I ended up doing both behind the scenes video and photographs for it, and I got kind of roped into doing a photo shoot for the phone.
There we go. I knew you were going to get work
at
from
the studio, and because they said they asked me the first day, it's like, do you want to do? The client's asking, could you do a few shots with us? Mm-hmm. I said, oh sure. So I did them in the boxing gym, and I did them again in the library, and then I said, to Hong, I was like, hey, do you want me to bring other lenses or something next time if they want more pictures? And he's like, yeah, sure. Came back the next day. Before I know it, they say, oh, we want to get some new shots. And I'm thinking, because you guys were shooting on the roof, and I was like, oh, great, I'm going to go out in the rain and get this. And they're like, no. Next thing I know, our gaffer has the back wall of this studio lit with like 2 sky panels and a breeze light. And I'm doing like I got a wardrobe person, I got the hair person.
Everybody.
My client was like right over my shoulder, looking shot by shot.
I was full on job.
And it was great. It was great, but like. And
then you did portraits of the whole crew.
And then we went downstairs, and I wound up getting portraits of everybody and taking a big group photo of the whole crew. But it was, oh man, I wish I could. The only thing I wish is that I wish I could have been in that downstairs location, but I was roped into doing the photo shoot, so I couldn't get
your own studio.
But we had, it was great. But it was a type of thing where if you want another lesson, here's how you get a job, kids. You make friends, and then you hang around on set like a piece of furniture, and eventually somebody will find work for you to do.
Well, look, I mean, we met in the first 2 shows, and then and you were saying, hey, I do these things. I said, do you do behind the scenes? All right, hey, what are you doing this week? And then suddenly, next thing you know is you're on a Park Avenue shooting Mission Impossible 5.
Yeah, that was great. But and to think about it, like it's a commercial. It's it's a short commercial, but we had stunts, we had multiple locations, we're shooting it like a movie, like that kind of experience. Like for someone like you, and this is going to segue into the next thing you're doing. So I'm going to ask you about your upcoming project.
Sure.
But like for someone like you, if you want to move from commercials to features, this thing looks like a feature.
Oh.
It looks like freaking Mission Impossible 7 or whatever. That's going to be the next number. But from here, and we'll have some behind the scenes, and you can check out that. You've got, I don't know if you have that on your website, but it's on my website, the behind the scenes video.
Yeah.
But tell us about the next thing you work, because you are working on a feature right now.
Yes, in fact I am. I just finished the script last night. Thank you. You're welcome.
So you're in the beginning stages of this.
Yeah, and now it's like into development, so I'm pushing it forward with a few interested investors, stuff like that. But the most interesting part is not just shot in places like New York. It's also shot in my personal experiences of places in China and places in Japan, places in Brazil, and all these things. So I call it simply if Indiana Jones played an instrument.
So your lead character's a musician, and he's a New Yorker, and then he winds up going on like this adventure through a couple of different continents.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for it? Was it just your musical career,
Personal
and things like
stories, yeah. I mean, I was originally writing a story about a filmmaker. I was like, I couldn't find a love for a filmmaker. I don't know why, but music is an international language, and people could relate to it throughout the world, as we might know.
Right.
So I thought you can have an emotional connection to that, make an amazing theme song, and so forth.
Was that the kind of thing where, like, is that where you always wanted to go, or was just this project needs to be this length, so I'm going to do a feature of it?
It happened when a tragic event happened to me in Brazil, which is a different time for a different story. And that kind of woke me up, and I said, you know what? These stories happen so you can tell the world. You should tell the world your story. You're a filmmaker. Make a feature. And I was like, you know what? Why am I just doing music videos at the time before I did commercials? And then I was starting developing a feature at that point. And
that's really cool, man. Like, I wish you a lot of luck with it, because I think your sensibility lends itself to that, and I also think it will be interesting for you and a great experience. And also, I think you're going to have more creative freedom than you do with commercials. Like, I don't know who's going to pay for this thing, and they'll probably be there, but you're not going to have the kind of client supervision, and you're not going to have to do that kind of dump truck directing where you have to shoot the crap out of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be able to say, no, this is the coverage I want, and
is all right.
and you probably won't have to shoot 3 locations in one day.
Yeah.
And be super rushed.
It could be though. It could.
Yeah. I mean,
30-day shoot.
With and you're going to shoot it on location.
Yeah.
What different countries are we talking about?
Well, New York is a different country in its own way. It's true.
I think of New York as more of an emirate than
anything
else.
that's true. Yeah. International.
It's an island off the coast of America.
Yeah, there we go. Or somewhere else.
So you're going to shoot it in New York, and where else?
China. China.
And
then,
please.
Yeah, please.
No
not now. And then Japan. And then bring down to Brazil, my second home.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Yeah. So not just there, it's also kind of thing where we can incorporate different cultures and languages and styles and personalities.
I think that's the type of thing. And you know what? Because I've seen this too, where people are incorporating different stars, different nationalities from different countries, especially the Chinese market. Because now if you want a blockbuster movie, you have to have. People put a Chinese star. Sometimes there's an entire subplot in the movie that's written for that Chinese actor, or even like a plot that makes China look good. Like, there's a lot of stuff in movies right now, but the fact that you're going to be filming there, that's a whole huge market that you can open up for that film. And are you going to do it in different languages, or are you going to try and keep everything in English?
It'll be some parts subtitles and stuff like that, where we have different characters would speak it. Of course, English. It's an American film. Everything's back in English base. Think of Inglourious Bastards, where it's still an American film shot in Europe about Americans and Europeans and all these different cultures and languages: German, English, French.
Right, but the people in China will speak Chinese, and the people in Japan will speak Japanese.
Exactly.
I like that. I mean, it's always sort of cringe-inducing when you're sitting in a movie and these people who speak a different language are alone together and they're speaking English.
Right.
And you're like, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, they should speak what
they should speak what they're comfortable
exactly,
with.
Exactly.
Like if you're in Brazil, there's 2 Brazilians in a locked room and there's no Americans or any English speakers present. They're going to speak Portuguese.
Right.
They're not going to just rattle off in English for our benefit, kind of thing.
Because when you travel these places, you might not know the language, but the fact is you're surrounded by it, and that's what traveling is about: is culture, is listening to the people and hearing these languages and everything like that. And you take something like an Anthony Bourdain TV show and put it into like a movie musical adventure.
I think that's going to be something that's done in movies from now on. Honestly, I think that's going to be something where we start to see, and we're already seeing it. We're already seeing that internationalism and multiculturalism and stuff. It's got to happen more here. I mean, we live in New York, so we're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
We see that every day, but I don't know how much they see it in Topeka. Or
great place.
But like maybe if they did, the world would be a kinder, gentler, more tolerant place.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be nice. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. But Blake, where can people find you if they want to hire you or learn more about your project?
Just search Google Blake Farber or BlakeFarber.com or something like that, or like follow my craziest things on Instagram. You might laugh or might block me. I don't know. I don't know what kind of.
What's your Instagram handle?
Just Blake Farber.
Okay. Great. So thanks for coming, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. It's so good to do this, and I think it's a great lesson for our viewers or anybody wanting to get into commercials to kind of give a sort of real-world glimpse of what it's like to direct or even just be on a commercial shoot, which is a great way to cut your teeth in the industry, I think.
Yeah, and happy birthday, Mihail.
Yeah.
Mofo.
This won't come out until after that, but
yeah,
we'll send it to him wherever he is. Anyway, and thanks for coming, man. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking this trip down the rabbit hole a third time, Mr. Blake Farber. For more episodes of this show, you can always find them on our website, btrp.nyc. We can also be found on all the major podcast channels: Anchor, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, etc., etc. For Behind the Rubber Productions, I'm Jason Godbey, and we'll see you next time.